Hey, it's Sharita Washington with part 4 of Because of God, My Testimony. I left off and Mamie here used to call me Riri. I hated it, and she called me that anyway. He had and has two sisters and three brothers. One brother, Bug, who is a little younger than me. We were best friends. As funny or weird as that may sound, we used to play his Nintendo game, Super Mario, when it first came out. I would like to add, but first I want to add, I left off one of my stepmama brothers, Joe, that had the store. I love you guys. Okay, now I would like to add, I did hide from my family that I was seeing DH, because he was older. He spoiled me. Every Thursday he got paid, and I had a new outfit for school every Friday in the ninth grade. And I drove his car to school, a tricked out beige Chevy Impala with a blue rag top and with rims. That was a big deal in those days. And because I was stunned in the ninth grade, he kept my hair fixed. I used to go to Emma to get my hair done. She was the coldest and most expensive hairdresser in Bahia. She was bougie before bougie became a word. I wasn't using that word then. We went to concerts, plays, movies. We even used to take my baby sister Nikita with us sometimes to the movies. She was about 5 or 6 years old. I was crazy about my little sister. We had a lot of good times. I just wasn't ready. I had my daughter Sharonika Danielle December 18th, 1990. Our relationship was on the rocks by then. He had another lady pregnant. She had her daughter 2 months later in February. DH is still married to this young lady today. We cool, I'm cool with her kids that's by him and the one that is not. As the kids got older, they would spend the weekend at my apartment or house that I was living in at the time in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm glad my daughter has a relationship with her half sisters just like I do. I love my sisters. I love both my sisters as if we had the same mom and dad. Boom. Let me bag it up. Let me piggyback in the eighth grade. My hair was beautiful and long when Emma would wrap my hair. It would wrap my face beautifully. So much until I thought I was Janet Jackson. Laugh out loud. The school used to give talent shows and dances. I almost was Janet Jackson in a talent show. I used to wear the giant earring with the key dangling as she did. But some may remember when Frederick Butler, Trey Bell, Jesse Brown was Cool Mo D in the talent show. They did so well imitating the Wild Wild West dance. When the high school gave dances, I used to sneak out one night, watch my grandmother Seal come inside the gym because it was dark with the DJ's lights flashing. DJ Jazzy Jeff was on the ones and twos. I hid in the bleachers watching her walking around looking for me. Yeah, cause this particular day they had to dance at the high school. So at the high school, the old high school, it was so dark in there. You couldn't see. I forgot who came to warn me that my grandmama was there. I ran to the bleachers because it was only lit where the DJ Jazzy Jeff lights were flashing it. So I'm in the bleachers high. She can't see me anyway, but I was still high. And when the light flashed, I could see it flash across my grandma's face. Mad then, woo! I activated one of them buttons. Cause they didn't want me to go nowhere. I went anyway. I was bad. I made bad decisions, y'all. Okay, and Jeff was one. I hid in the bleachers watching her walk around looking for me. I knew she was going to embarrass me. I saw the look on her face. She was hot. But when I made it home, she was behind the door. Yeah, I thought I was sneaking back in. My grandma would hid behind the door and yanked my butt in. I thought I was, see, I'm still telling the stories in here. I thought I was sneaking back in. My grandmother still snatched me by my bad tail self in the house. Snatched my bad tail self in the house. Another time my grandmother embarrassed me, I was a cheerleader in the ninth grade. It's sad Bahia didn't offer much for the younger crowd. That was the first and last year they had a cheerleader team. My friends and I enjoyed it, even though our cheerleader coach picked our song and had us to dance a routine on mashed potato, shaking my head. But one day I didn't come straight home from practice. My late Uncle Raymond brought my grandmother to look for me. She was whooping me with a switch while I was getting in the car, and I was acting like nothing was going on. So yeah, you can only imagine when I made it to school the next day. Oh my God, I had to walk in that school like nothing happened. I got bullied badly for that. Tragic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not and wasn't mad at my grandmother. I deserved it. I used to steal my grandmother's car after she went to bed. Lie like I was staying with friends to be with DH. She was fed up with my crap. I wasn't never a bad person. I just made bad decisions. In the ninth grade, I was living what I thought was the life. Granted, I made a lot of mistakes in life lessons along the way. And because of the mistakes I did make, a lot was made up also. It's so easy for people to make up lies and rumors about people anywhere in the world. But in a small town like Bahia, Mississippi, where everybody knows everybody, it can be devastating. Boom, ninth grade. You couldn't tell me and my friends nothing. I grew up with Keisha Woon, my best friend, Zawadi Brown. They stayed on my dad's road called Schoolhouse Road. Reagan Ship, the diva. Reagan always have been the dresser, stepper. She loved her clothes. I don't have this in the book, but still to this day, Reagan and Ship love her clothes. So y'all can think what y'all want to think. That's just her. She ain't showing out for nobody. She's showing out for herself. Okay. I didn't put that in the book. I just added that. Okay. Okay. Tangela Harper, Tan, Lori Neely, Lori Wilkins, Missy, Tamara Moore, Teresa Dean, Katrina Taylor, Kalisa Bell, Latrice Blair, Tree, Lakeisha Brunson, a.k.a. Mookie, a funny young lady, still to this day. Not everyone I named was in our group, the 8 Ball Posse, laugh out loud. It was 8 of us. But I really consider these young ladies my dear friends. A part of my life journey and some great memories. I had many more friends, but most of these ladies, we all went to slumber parties at each other's houses and clubbed together. We were 15, 16 years old with no business being in the club. We were everywhere, catching a ride or using our parents' cars. Remember, my dad, Red Dog, was a mechanic, so he kept me riding in something, even if they were old cars. But I appreciated every last one of them. He gave me a station wagon one time. One of D.H., my baby daddy's good friend, Petro, used to call me Brady Bunch. I didn't care. I had a ride. Back then, the high school basketball games were lit, especially if Bahia played Olive Branch or Holly Springs High School. Holly High versus or vice versa. After the games, everybody go to Shopper Market, a store in town with the best cheeseburgers. Used to be. And they don't call it Shopper Market anymore. And club sandwiches. You can eat in a small town and then, okay, you can eat in a small town and then the after parties. We were at Elmore's, Marshall Scruggs, Maddie B's, Club New World. If it was popping, we were there. They didn't ask for IDs then. Sometimes Club New World did, but we still got in. We were the It Girls. Victoria, another area in Bahia, and H&R was one of our stomping grounds. Softball games was lit as well. We had a lot of fun with the D-boys back then. Red, Sean, Norris, D-Berry, my crush was D-Berry. Tavis, Bam, Daryl Jones. What's up, my guy? He knows everybody and everybody's business. Not in a bad way. One thing I still love about Daryl, he is so positive. Even if we talk about something bad, he still don't have nothing bad to say. That's one person I haven't cut off to this day. I cut off a lot of people because of it. Like, you know, things happen, but I don't judge, and I don't want to be sitting around gossiping about people because I know I have had it done to me. But anyway, I had a lot of male friends. Some I haven't named. But living in a small town, if you ride to the store with a male and somebody sees you, they will start rumors. I still have a lot of male friends that are just friends. I'm just pointing out some of the bullcrap I went through. Was I perfect? No. But I wasn't that bad either. Some men will lie on their self. But however, with the good times, I had some bad times and some sad times. In high school, a couple of kids I won't name because years ago they apologized to me. But he used to bully me about my mom being on drugs. I can't lie, it hurt me. Even all the lies people put on my reputation. And they know who they are. But hey, I learned a lot of life lessons the hard way. Through my young years, up until now at 15, 16, I used to visit my cousins in Memphis, Tennessee over the summer. My cousin Mark Washington, my grandmother Seal brother's son, great uncle Punk. They live in Memphis, Tennessee on Clark, where used to. That used to be one of Memphis' nicest streets. My late Uncle Booker T. Washington, my grandmother's still other brother, who lived next door to my Uncle Punk, Lil Mark. Sorry, I gotta get this edited. Used to have me, Spina, and Chavez everywhere walking in Memphis streets. We used to walk to the malls. My other cousins, Deborah Washington and Darren Washington, are brothers and sisters to my great aunt Clara, my grandma, other sister. My grandma Seal, other sister. They stayed in the Camelot Manor apartments. Back then, they were nice with a pool. You can't even tell it was a pool ever there. But I used to babysit my cousin Deborah's son, the late Deshard Washington, 1988 to 2019. That's when he passed on. So in 2019, I was crazy about that red baby, light skin. I got that in parentheses. Shad was so cute. My cousin Deborah bougie too. She kept my little cousin handsome. Me and my cousins and DH, my baby daddy, used to swim in the Camelot Manor apartments with us also. I ended up pregnant around this time. I dropped out of school and moved to Memphis, Tennessee with my mother, who was now clean and thriving. She was going to AA meetings and working as a secretary for a boys' home on Poplar. We were living on Lamar in a rooming house. That's a house where strangers share the house. Everyone has their own room but shares the kitchen and bathroom. It was next door to a club called RC's in the Mound. I'll never forget my mom went to a meeting and I didn't go that night. But I was being nosy. I was looking out my window and saw a man kicking, hitting, and stomping that woman through the ground. I was so frightened for that lady. We still didn't have cell phones, but we ended up moving from there and moving to Ketchum Apartments off Airways behind the Disney Queen, where Lil Chet rapper from Memphis, Tennessee used to work. I want to piggyback a little bit off when I did look out the window seeing how that man was beating that lady. I was so scared and frightened for that lady. I still remember that. And I think that's still why I don't put up with men that hit women. And even though I've been through abuse, it's been emotional. But we're going to get to that part. So, where Lil Chet, okay, we used to walk to that wait a minute, let me back up a little bit. We ended up moving from there and moving to Ketchum Apartments off of Airways behind the Disney Queen, where Lil Chat, a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee, used to work. I used to walk to that Disney Queen all the time. I used to see Lil Chat. That Disney Queen is no longer there, or those apartments. We moved from there to a better neighborhood in some apartments called Over to Square Place Apartments. They were a few blocks away from my school, Tech. After I had my daughter Sharonika, I used to walk home sometimes. It was at Crystal's not far away. I used to work there at Poplar in Cleveland. My mom found me a school program for pregnant girls. I started when I was around 6 to 7 months. The school was called Tech, but it was also had another side for juvenile kids going to school. We were in separate areas of this big building called Tech at the corner of Poplar and Cleveland. Sometimes we would still see them. I loved that school because of perfect attendance. I got a free baby crib and a voucher to go to Kmart. I bought my baby the Winnie the Pooh bedding and everything I wanted her to have from Kmart. Wait a minute, everything I wanted. Oh, and everything I wanted her to have from Kmart because of the free voucher I got. I got her a lot of stuff, free stuff. I was blessed. I made a lot of friends as well. Two of my closest friends from there I still see sometimes. Crystal was actually from Mississippi as well, but in an area called Cross the Bible. Trinika was from Orange Mound. I just recently ran back into her. She does my finger waves. But Trinika and some other girls from my school lived in the Lamar Terrace. Some projects on Lamar. They are not there anymore. I used to like hanging out with them in their own cribs. So much so, I told my mom I wanted my own place too. She was like, why would you want to move over there? And left it at that. I'm from the country. An apartment was an apartment to me. My mom didn't mean any disrespect when I look back on that. She just wanted me to want more for myself. I was about to be 17. I just wanted a crib. DH would still come to Memphis to see me, but we were growing further and further apart. His now wife and I were pregnant at the same time. Sharonika Danielle is 2 months older than her sister. I never and still don't have a negative bone or a hard heart. This is another reason I'm blessed. I had my daughter December 18, 1990. I was laying on the couch eating Oreos and dripping them in milk when I went into labor. I was in labor for hours and hours. I had her at the Med downtown Memphis when they had the maternity ward. They no longer deliver babies anymore. My baby was so pretty with beautiful curly hair. She weighed 7 pounds 6 ounces. She came out looking like myself and her dad. Although people were trying to say DH wasn't her baby. Well, it wasn't her dad. Wasn't my baby dad. Wanted me to be the bad guy so bad. At the time, I was crushing on D-Bear. Tough. And DH was doing his thing as well. Don't forget, Nika just 2 months older than her sister. But what people don't know is that we weren't having sex like that. I'm just speaking on me and D-Bear. Out of all the times you might have seen me in Victoria riding with him or visiting with him, we probably had sex 2 or 3 times. We was friends and still are to this day. Ha! My stepmom and dad were there too when I had the baby. But I didn't know my mom didn't let DH into the delivery room until I talked to DH. My mom was a little controlling. We were like oil and water. We didn't get along well. Me and my baby moved back to Bahia with my grandmother Sia. My grandmother had and has 5 kids. Aubrey Washington, Uncle Jerry, my Uncle Raymond, my Uncle Dennis, and Shirley, my aunt. I wonder if people know how intelligent my Uncle Raymond really is. No, my Uncle Jerry. Okay, my Uncle Jerry, he likes to ride around all day, every day. But I wonder if people know how intelligent he really is. Book and street smarts. Uncle Dennis, Mr. Jacqueline Hyde, I say that because if he's tipsy, he would not, now if he's not tipsy, okay, I say that because if he ain't tipsy, he would not say one word to anybody. He is quiet as a mouse until he gets them beers in him. I introduced my Aunt Shirley already, picture lady, and my late Uncle Raymond was their baby brother. My uncle was a cool, laid-back guy. He had his issues, but we all do. I love my Uncle Raymond, so we all lived on Highway 309. another area in Bahia called the North Side. The North Side was it. We even had a little community down the street called the Poho. Shout out to everybody from those times. Shout out to the whole North Side. I can't name them all. We know who we are because life was good. Life was much better than now. I appreciate my age, for real, for real. We lived in two trailers that were combined together. I was doing anything at the time. I wasn't doing anything at this time but being a teenager with a baby. I want to thank all the support I had from my family, my cousins, my cousin Tiffany Washington, my great uncle Punk, oldest daughter, was a star basketball player at Hamilton High. I was also proud of that for her. She's an LPN nurse today. I used to want to go to Hamilton Central, Melrose, or the Northside School in Memphis in those days. Well, in those times. Football and basketball was lit. And they had the best majorettes. I hate that Bahia schools didn't honor that. Or cheerleading. Tragic. I used to want to be a majorette real bad. But my cousin Tiffany used to have my best friend Keisha Woon and me all over Memphis, going to clubs like No Name, Club Memphis, or riding on Beale Street. Man, Beale Street now would never compare to Beale Street back then. Beale Street was like going somewhere out of town visiting another big city. It was fun, and crime was not like it is now. Nothing about Beale Street is the same. But Tiffany always kept a cute car. She had a sunroof. In this car we used to hang out the sunroof until 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. Keisha Wu and her mom had moved to Memphis, Tennessee, so I would spend the night at their apartment sometimes called the King Gates. Those apartments were so luxurious back then. Now they look like some projects. But however, when I tell y'all, we had so much fun over there meeting different people and hanging out. Hanging out. One street inside the apartment complex we used to walk to from Keisha's apartment, they nicknamed it Beale Street. Because King Gates is such a big apartment community. Wow. King Gate was a big apartment complex. But anyway, we had a street we hung out on where some more popular guys lived on, but we called it Beale Street. Man, them was the days. One street, because everybody hung out on that street. About middle ways of the apartment complex, I really can't complain about my childhood. Shout out to Theo Maybone. Keisha had her first baby by him. I met him when he was dating Keisha in the King Gates. We Instagram friends today. You better be reading this. You better get my book whenever I publish it. Okay, y'all, another part. I wonder if I should start over right here. I'm going to go ahead and read this. Okay, so I wasn't really doing anything productive with my life. So my mom came up with the bright idea of me going to Job Corps in Knoxville, Tennessee. She first had me sign a letter saying I was giving her custody to take care of Sharonika while I was away at school, so she would be able to take her to doctors and different appointments, and that she would give custody back when I came home. That plan never came true. But hey, everything happened for a reason. I guess I could say that with all three of my kids. But one thing I could say is that me and my kids have a bond you can't break free from. Sharonika and Kendrick, my middle son, are my best friends. My last son, Sincere, the gamer, you can't snatch him away. He is different, but we still have our bond in our own way. That's the big baby. I'm blessed. A lot of people had the luxury of raising their kids up under the same roof, some with two-parent homes, but they don't have any type of relationship with their children. I'm triple blessed. Boom. I signed up for Job Corps, not knowing what to expect. I knew I could get a GED in a trade. That was the whole point of the Job Corps. I knew, and oh I knew an old Holiday Inn motel had been turned. Okay, when I went to Job Corps, it was an old Holiday Inn motel that had been turned into this program called Job Corps, and that we got an allowance every week, and plus whatever our parents sent us. I also knew it was two people to a room for girls and boys. The girls were on the fourth floor and third floor, and the boys were on the second and third floor. They tried their best to keep the boys separated from the girls after hours because we were allowed to interact at school or anywhere but our rooms. We could talk at school, on the bus, or in the recreation room. But being in our room was a no-no, is what I'm trying to say. Like I say, I haven't read over this book in a while, y'all. But I'm keeping it together. It's my story. I know what's going on. I might not have it written correctly or pronunciated correctly. But the story's still the same. Okay, we can interact anywhere but our rooms. There was a big no-no. Needless to say, I'm speaking for everybody. It was an epic fail. Okay, I think I'm going to stop it right there. And we're going to pick it back up on part 5. Thank y'all.